There we are.
I don't know, fucking... Is it not a bit seedy with the old fucking crotch angle going on here?
Nah, that's...
You reckon?
Well, what do you reckon, higher?
I don't know, what do you think? I think it looks a bit fucking rascal. Just got me sort of Corey on fucking
yeah.
full display.
Yeah, depends what your viewers like, mate, if they like that shit or not. You know what I mean?
Hold up.
What's the Stomping Ground's audience?
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go. Less crotch, bro.
That's going on the outtakes.
Less cocky.
Yeah.
Have you not got someone here to do all this, bro? What's happened?
That's what I mean. We
you know
need a podcast studio, but I thought, fuck it, like we're just gonna have to.
Oh, we're good, aren't we?
There we are. 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 There we are.
Like a big GK, mate.
I know. Am I fitting in? I'm in.
You in, yeah?
Yes. Right. This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground, live on DAZN and powered by Wow Hydrate. I'm going to scoot in a little bit more. I don't really know. It's a little bit sort of like make it up as we go along here. I'm like up in Sheffield. No, never. never one to blag it. I've got Mr. Oli McBurnie next to me. Now, we've been chatting for a long time. There was always potential about doing something, but I thought... We always talk about boxing and we'll chat shit and talk about boxing in this. But I thought if I want to do something, want to do it and talk about multi-sport, talk about football, talk about all sorts of madnesses. So here we are, to an extent, of course. Now on the Stomping Ground, which you're a big fan of, I believe.
Huge fan, my man. Huge.
Yeah? Come on, we like that. We did want to get a podcast studio. But instead, we've resorted to me setting the camera up quite amateurly.
Old school, isn't it?
Actually, yeah. Griff, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. This is actually the first time we've linked up.
Yeah, you've pestered me that much. It's about time that we
not the old Eddie Hearn fucking. We're not going there, are we? Straight into it.
You've gone from the big GK to me already. You're on the downhill already, bro.
No, never.
Stomping Ground's peaked, I think.
We're stuck now.
Yeah, you're done already, mate.
Can I tell them about... So, I agreed to film with you at 3:30.
Yeah.
What time did training finish?
I was probably done about... I was probably done about 1 o'clock.
And what did you do?
I played a nice 18 holes on the golf simulator. Yeah.
I've got to say, if there's dedication to doing something, it's playing 18 holes. I don't know enough about golf. I'm looking now. I mean, have you done all right? I don't.
High end, mate. 2 under, that says, which is incredible.
Okay.
Like... the course was very easy, I'll give it, but yeah, it's real high end.
Okay.
All your viewers, I'm sure, will love.
Well, they probably like a bit of golf and understand a bit of golf.
Yeah, I hit a 70, 2 under, which is a bit false, obviously, on the simulator, and there was gimmies on the putts from 8 feet. So I know you love that Jurgen, but yeah, no, it was a real high end round, and it got me through waiting 3.5 hours for you, mate.
Yes,
yeah, so
I know, and you actually have stuck around.
Yeah, no,
which
I just
I mad respect.
There's no one else in the building.
There's no one in the building. The Sheffield United training ground is absolutely empty.
Yeah, it's empty, mate.
I feel quite
the things I do
privileged.
For you
I know. Well, this is the first actual football thing going up on the Stomping Ground. We got a bit with Andy Cole, got a bit with Big H Maguire, but I thought Get first with
start low and then it just
whoa.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I was actually saying start with a bang. Mudding me straight away. How is life?
Yeah, it's good, mate. It's really good. Obviously, Mrs. is pregnant.
Yes, congratulations.
Thanks, pal. So just kind of preparing for that. I feel like she's been pregnant for about 4 years now. So just kind of hoping that the baby comes out soon because she's doing my tits in a little bit. Yeah, so apart from that, football, yeah, obviously it's tough. It's testing, you know. We're not in the situation where we want to be. But we had a little bit of time off last week because the Man United game got rearranged.
Yes, of course.
And I feel like everyone just being out the building for a little bit and being reinvigorated and having a little bit of mental space away from the training ground has done everyone a world of good. And we've had a good 4 weeks training this week. Looking forward to the card in Sheffield tomorrow.
Yes.
And then cracking back at it and Fulham at home next week.
Yes. Okay. Let me speak to you about that then, because obviously this is international break at the minute.
Yeah.
You guys are back in training, but when you have that time off, and I suppose like in a position that you guys are in, and just being like blunt and truthful with that, does it?
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
My face is just going to be clipped up, being like. No, you lot are you're having some testing times.
Yeah.
Do you come back feeling refreshed? Is the energy better when you're coming back in training and you've been able to go away and have that time off?
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, it's one of them, mate. Like no one wants to be in the situation we're in. None of us want to be in. The staff don't want to be. The fans don't want to be in this situation we're in. But we are in that situation. That's the reality of it. And it's about finding ways to make training and the workplace a good environment to be in, because the only, like, it's not going to stop, you know what I mean? No. Like, it's not going to get any easier. No one's going to say, oh, because you're bottom of the league, we're going to start and go, like, do you know, we've still got to turn up, and we're, at the end of the day, we're the ones who have to go out on the Saturday and, you know, face the heat of everything that comes with it. So, you know, we have to find ways of making it a place where we all want to come in and work and try and improve and get better. And, you know, I think the gaffer giving us a bit of time off last week when I think we had 3 weeks without a game. So, you know, it would have been a real slog coming in every day with no game to kind of have a release. So, bit of time off, not seeing all the boys' faces for a couple of days. Yeah, it was good, and it kind of makes you appreciate being in more as well. Do you know what I mean? What's your reflection on the season so far? Because there's been some highs. Yeah. Like, I can't remember what part of the season it was, but I remember commenting, and it almost felt like it was so close, but so far. And then, obviously, since then, it's been a little bit more testing. But how do you sort of evaluate it and process it as a whole so far? Yeah, it's frustrating, mate. Like you said, there's been so many times that you look at, like, Spurs away, where we're 1-0 up for till the 94th minute or something, and then we get beat 2-1, and then Aston Villa away, we're winning the whole game, and then, you know, they get an equaliser in the 100th minute or whatever, and there's them little moments that they are very deflating, man, in them situations. You know, you've worked so hard, and obviously you're up against it at these teams, so no, it's tough, man. And, you know, being this is the first season where I've personally been on the end of some, like, big defeats, you know, big losses. Like the Arsenal game for me, I didn't play the Newcastle game or Arsenal away, but the Arsenal at home, man, like I don't remember feeling like that on a pitch, where I just felt so like. Talk me through because we can all see it from like a fan's perspective watching it, but being in that position, I'm a Southampton fan. You'll have known that I'll have seen us in that stadium. Couple of situations, 2 9-0s, which will never be forgotten. What's it like? You know, how would you describe that? Because I mean, it must like it's humiliation. I think 100%. Yeah, it's embarrassing. You know, the first couple I wasn't involved in the games, and that was almost as bad because I felt like there was nothing I could do, you know, to help the boys. Like I felt like they were tough as well. And then, like I said, the Arsenal one, and it's just embarrassing. It's the only word. You're looking around at each other like we need to do something here. Like we need to make something happen, because this is like. Yeah, embarrassing, humiliating, them sort of words it's a tough one, man. You got all the people around you watching, just thinking you're shit, and everyone on the TV at home laughing at you, and like I'm coming off of the game, and my missus is saying like, "Oh, you all right?" and that, and I'm like, "Yeah, like it's fucking peaking it, like you know what it is," and she's like, "Oh, there's some funny memes on Twitter, like, can I send you one?" And I'm like, "Can you fuck what you?" What do you mean, bro? Like, no. Do you know what I mean? Because she knows what I'm like. Of course, she knows. No, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. How I am, and like there's certain times when she can catch me, and it'll be like she knows she has to leave me alone. Yeah. Like I'm not the like. And there's certain times where I might be. Yeah, sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Yes. But them times there, I was like, please, this is not the time. Like, it's not the time. I just won't come home tonight. I think I've seen Chris Wilder say something about like it gets to a point of damage limitation. Yeah. When you're like half time in the dressing room, I mean, like what is that conversation, and then what's the intent when you go out afterwards? I mean, just run me through everything from that point. Yeah, just run me through all the experiences that I really want to forget about. All over. I know. Yeah, it depends. Like what manager? So like with Chris. His thing always was, I remember when we first came into the Prem, he never wanted to lose 3 games in a row. That was his big thing. We don't lose 3 games in a row, and we never get beat, like pumped. Yeah. So we never get done more than 2 or mainly 3. Yeah. So he knew when a game was out of reach. Like when we played Arsenal that day, that's the best team I've ever played on the day. Okay. So I always thought like Man City, no one would touch. Man City away was always the worst game of the season. Yeah. Like I didn't want to play because I just felt like they just keep the ball and I'm running around like a girl. Yeah. But on the day, in terms of performances and players I've played against, and at that minute I've played against some unbelievable players, that Arsenal performance against us that day was the best I've ever played against. Yeah. So Chris Wilder in that situation will hold his hands up. He understands that we're not going to win that game. You know, we're 3-0 down after 14 minutes or something. He knows we're not going to win that game. So his mentality stops from going to, we're going to win this game, to, all right, that's it. You know what I mean? There's no more, it's not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's 3. If we nick a goal, we nick a goal. If not, we stay at 3.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? That's his mentality in that, which I completely understand. I've had other managers in the past where they'll still think we can win the game, but they'll throw a few players on and it ends up to be what silly scores. So yeah, at half time it's just about show up shot, be more aggressive, win your personal battles, and like we don't get done by anyone.
You must still have to have something in you.
Of course you do. Yeah, it's like that's an individual thing. I think when it gets to that, there's not the gaffer can't change magic tactics here and automatically make you want to go out in that second half, and they can't go out for you. So it's about you going out in the second half and just having a bit of pride, man, and just making sure it don't get any worse than what it already is. Like, you know what I mean? It's not. It is one of the worst positions to be in I've ever been in my life. It's horrendous. Yeah. Okay. Don't want to be there ever again.
Okay. Right? And we're not going to dwell on it anymore.
Let's move on.
We're gonna move on. Talk to me a little bit about last season, and I suppose I'm now starting to do a little bit more in the football world. But to hear it firsthand, it's refreshing. So, you lot go up. What a competitive and great year it was last year. What is the adaptation like? Because you would have done it before, and it wouldn't have been new to you. But how do you go from almost like I'm not saying you don't have the winner's mentality now, because always you do, but it goes from constant success to then obviously the level of opposition is considerable. You go from playing, no disrespect to Rotherham United, you go from playing Rotherham and then you're playing City away, like Arsenal away.
Of course, you go from every game, you know, expecting to win every game. We expect to win every game. The fans expect us to win every game. To there's games where no one expects you to win.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a strange predicament. Like you say, we go from last year from arguably being one of the 2 best teams in the league, thinking we're going to win every game, thinking we can win every game, and winning a lot of games, and really enjoying it. You know, playing Tuesday, Saturday, and it's rolling on, to then. Now the objective completely changed. It's all about where can we nick points here? What games are we going to nick points? How are we going to?
Is that a reality check that happens after a couple of games? Like when you go into the new season after coming off such success, do you still have a little bit the same mentality of like?
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like we go into the season and we don't set limits and we're like, right, we just need to stay up here, we just need to do this, you know what I mean? Because the first season when we was in the Prem with Sheffield, and everyone writ us off and said we was going to be the worst team that's ever been in the Prem before, and we finished ninth, do you know what I mean? So I feel like you have that to a certain extent, that kind of, that confidence and that mentality.
You've done it before.
Yeah. And even just carrying on from the Championship anyway, but like I say, you have them few results at the start of the season where you're winning, and in the Champ you win them games. Do you know what I mean? The Spurs away, you've won that game. And then all of a sudden, it's going to the 107th minute and you've lost 2-1, and it's like, how's that just happened? And it does knock the wind out your sails. So that comes with it there. It's a little bit of a mentality change. But, you know, you can't change too much of your mentality. You still got to have the same outlook. You know, we knew it was going to be a tough season with the summer transfer windows and things that happened at the club in terms of that. But, you know, we always went in the season with a real positive mindset and thinking we could, you know, upset a few people and prove a few people wrong. Obviously, it's not worked out like we'd hoped so far. Still time to do things.
I was going to say, there's still time.
No, of course, yeah, definitely.
And now, like you say, you've come back, have the international break, then you've got Fulham away. The intent is like sort of almost like never give up without being cliche, and just sort of like you push on, do it for the fans.
And to a certain extent, it's almost like it can't get any worse. We're literally bottom of the league, so it's almost like you can kind of have that. I saw it the second year at Sheffield United. There was a couple of players, once we'd actually got confirmed relegation, they started playing better, and it was almost like there was a relief, there was a weight lifted off them, there was no pressure, they could go out, and I seen them play a little bit, and I was thinking, hold on,
what's going on here?
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that can happen to certain people, and I say it to a lot of the boys now. There's a lot of young boys in the dressing room who've not been around this situation before, and I'll say to them, listen,
I'm going to say that must be kind of intimidating in itself.
Yeah, of course. You look at it intimidating, or you can look at it like you said, no pressure. You know, they don't have any pressure. Boys coming into the first team now, it's their chance to go out and impress. It's not going to get any worse. So if you're better than what's already been, which is worse, you
can
improve
only,
them. So
yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
mate.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's all different ways you can. It's individually what you can draw from.
Talk to me about that season where you finished ninth. That was mad, right? Because going
crazy,
into
mate.
it, everyone's, and you've probably done numerous interviews. I'm scooting a little bit more. You've probably done numerous interviews already talking about it, and that was like, it was everything. Wherever you go, whether it be Sky, whether it be, I'm just going to put this on my lap because it keeps fucking trying to turn off.
It's all right, mate.
No, we're good. I just don't want to keep like leaning down, and do you know what I mean? Like they might be thinking I'm having a tear up with the table.
You don't want to scare all the viewers.
No, I
mate.
know. That's what I'm saying. We've got the badges and all, so we definitely don't want to have them shitting themselves. Where was I? Yes, that sort of lockdown season. Firstly, playing. Do you think part of the no fans
Killed us.
Okay.
We were flying. I'm pretty sure we were like 6th until it went into lockdown. And then having no fans.
Oh, I swear.
Because I used to think, right, I always just say this about Bramall Lane. We'd play teams like at home at Bramall Lane, like it'd be freezing, weather, like pissing it down, like it always is in Sheffield. The fans were on it, like at the other team. I used to hate playing it when I was other teams playing at Sheffield. There was always on you. And like, it'd give us that extra 10%. Half of the teams, they didn't want to be there. We'd already beaten before they come. So that season, having them was a massive like help to us. And we were flying, mate. And then lockdown came and some teams like went from like there to there, having no fans, the same thing again because of the pressure. And to us, us and some other teams went from there to there because I need like fans shouting shit at me. It can be good things, bad things. I need that extra adrenaline.
Yeah, you strike me as the type of geezer that would thrive off like
a little bit
matey boy going.
Yeah. But I was doing all sorts, mate. I was trying like 3 caffeine shots and adrenaline shots before I was going out to try and give me that adrenaline boost that I would get from a fan shouting at me.
Mad.
And it wasn't working, clearly. But me and I know a lot of the boys in that team, we had a good team of men, man. We had leaders, we had like real men in that team, and that was a good season. That's why I was so successful that season. A big part of that was the fans. And when the lockdown happened and we started playing afterwards, it just wasn't the same, and we tailed off a little bit. I think we finished 9th, but obviously still an incredible season for us in our first season in the Premier.
After that, what was it? The season after,
when we got relegated, it was the full lockdown season.
Okay. Oh,
so that's another thing we'd finished 8th, 9th, but we didn't get to celebrate with the fans because like for the end of that season there was no fans there, so like they deserved to celebrate with us as much as we did.
What was like because I look back at the madness that was, because I was never fully established in boxing at this point, and this probably like, I mean, I am about 12, so it probably explains.
Well, now you're fully established, aren't you?
Well, but just like you'd see the bubble shows happening, and these lot would. I remember when it first happened, they'd have to go in. So like, I think David Diamante to be the MC in Matchroom Fight Camp come in. He had to sit in a hotel room for 14 days.
The bubble, mate.
Yeah, but they couldn't even mix then once he had the negative. Like that was a 14-day quarantine.
It's mental looking back on it.
Yes,
fucking mental.
As a player. And like, we look at the swabs and in face masks and everything, but that must have been so like we was getting swabbed. I think at one point we was getting swabbed. It was either like 3 times a week or every day. So we had a swab station here. So every morning when we came into training, you'd have to get swabbed, like the thing up your nose. And then if you got I remember one of the boys wanting the squad, like didn't get Leon Clark. I'm pretty sure he didn't get announced for the squad. And then we'd had loads of injuries, so he was still in the squad, but he hadn't done a COVID test that week, and you needed a COVID pass. So we had a COVID pass on our phone that we'd done like the day before. To get into any stadium, you had to scan the COVID pass to get into the stadium, otherwise you weren't allowed. He'd got called up like the night before because there was injuries. Obviously hadn't done his COVID pass. Came to the game, tried to get scanned. They wouldn't let him into the stadium. And he was trying to be on the bench, and they wouldn't let him on the stadium. And we're like, wild, do you mean he's in the squad? Like he's going to play? Like, and it was just, looking back on it, it was fucking ridiculous, really, wasn't it? Like the whole thing was
mental.
Now I think yesterday was saying like 4 years on.
Wild, isn't it?
Wild.
I know,
As a footballer playing your whole life in, like, bearing in mind, even from like a grassroots level, there's always a couple of people. That first game with no one there must have been fucking weird.
Mate, it felt like a reserve game because you're obviously in stadiums, and the thing with like when you're young, it's not even reserve games now. When I was younger, reserve games would be like the old boys like the boys who aren't getting a game in the first team and then the under-18s, and you'd play it in a stadium, but you can hear, like, when you kick the ball, you can hear the echo of the ball kicking around the stadium. It was like, so like, I could hear everything the gaffer was saying. Yes. It wasn't good for me. Like, the gaffer's hammering me on the pitch. I don't need to hear that.
You just want to get on,
I need a bit of fun to drown him out sometimes. Do you know what I mean? But it was all little things. He just felt so surreal. And looking back on it, it was so weird, man. Playing at like Old Trafford with no fans, and it kind of defeats the object of playing at Old Trafford.
Did it, from the dynamic of, like, I can imagine when you're playing and it's like kicking off between the fans, and then it starts to get a bit spiteful in the game. Yeah. How did that dynamic change? Did you find that you would clash more with other teams, or maybe even teammates, because you could hear everything that was said more so? Or, like, what was the dynamic on the field?
Yeah, like? I'd say so. You could just hear more of everything. So not, like, their coaches, our coaches, like, the players, our players. I think it was probably less competitive because of you didn't have the fans there. Yeah. In terms of, like, less tackles and argy-bargy and all that stuff.
Adrenaline sort of stuff. It's just not there.
It's just not there. It was just it felt like a different sport, mate. And I want a big fun.
Let's talk about something I wrote. I said to a few of my pals, big football fans, I was like, right, I want some good ones.
All right.
Maddest night out after a win, because there's got to be some, like, I reckon, like, when you lot have gotten up, there's going to be some sort of mad celebrations. I mean,
we went Vegas in the summer after we got promoted.
Okay,
that was a good one. I remember when I was at Bristol Rovers on loan when I think I must have been like a young kid. Well, I was a young kid, and we got promoted from League 2, and they all went Vegas, but I wasn't old enough to go, so I missed out on it. So that was a tough one.
Vegas is wild.
I was still in the group chat with them all while they were in Vegas. No. But we went this in the summer, and
that must still be a problem for a few of the lads now, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I should say this, but there was a couple of lads who were 21, and we managed to get them in, and one of them, my very good mate, every time we'd be queuing up to go in, because this is a big queue, like a group of us, and we're going in to, like, get our table or whatever, and he'd be having an absolute panic up trying to go in, and every time we got through, he had the biggest smile on his face, like, and he just couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the night.
When you're like over in this country, 17,
when you're like 16, and you get into the pub,
you're trying to get into the gaff.
It's exactly like that. But
Vegas there's some wild.
Yeah, Vegas was crazy,
strange gaff.
And some when you go with a good group of lads, man, there's nothing better, man. We had like a few days, and
because I was asking you this yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, people won't understand this, and people will probably hate that I say this, but this is your job.
Yeah.
And it is a job.
It is.
Right? So these lot are technically they're your teammates, but also they're your colleagues.
Yeah, your work colleagues.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
But you said that you get on with a lot of them, like, which obviously adds to that. But it's not going to be like that all the time, and there'll be certain people that you get on with more than others, etc. But you've got sort of good relationships, and you've always sort of bounced off. I suppose you're always going to. The squads are so big, you're always going to get on with someone, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely better squads than some squads are, like.
Swear.
Yeah, some aren't great.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I've got friends who are at some squads, and I'm like, what's the dressing room like? It's wank. Like,
I swear.
Yeah.
What, in terms of, like, no crack, or just a bit, like, stiff and serious?
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, just all of it. You need a little bit, like,
you do.
You come into work with 25 lads every day. If it's just stiff and boring, there's nothing worse. Like, I don't like, that's half of the. I speak to, like, one of my good mates, Matt Kilgallen's retired.
Okay.
And he says one of the main thing he misses about playing is coming in and seeing 20 mates every day without trying.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard to organise stuff with your mates and that, but you get to come in and see your boys.
Always, yeah.
You're always there. You don't have to organise anything. You're there every day.
Obviously, that depends on whether.
Exactly. But if they're not your boys, then you've got to go in and spend every day of your life with 25 people you don't really like. But I've always been lucky here. The boys are great here. Like,
how long have you been here now?
It's my 5th season, 5 years, yeah. This has been, like, when I first came, the boys, I think that's why we did so well in this. Like, obviously, the teams were better than us, but we had such a good bond. Like, I know people say this about the teammates, half of them are lying. Like, they don't have the bond. Yeah.
They know, but of course, but then there's so much, like, PR.
Oh, yeah, it's hot bollocks, isn't it? Yeah. But we genuinely did. Like, we did everything together, like, nights out, coffee, like,
sick.
Yeah, it was everything. So, and I don't live in Sheffield, so, like, I was travelling, like, an hour to come and meet the boys to do things.
This is a dynamic that I never knew existed. And one of my pals, Sammy Smuddix, I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but he lives a little bit away from where they train as well. And you live, I'm not going to say where, obviously, but you've got to make a bit of a trek.
Yeah.
You lot are like, I suppose it helps when you're driving the nice cars and stuff like that, yeah. But you lot are doing a proper like mission to training and back every day.
Yeah, I'm doing about 100 miles a day, like driving. But it's a bit different for me. I've never done this before. Like when I was at Swansea, I lived 2 minutes from the training ground. Like I'm from Leeds originally.
Okay.
Like I grew up in Leeds. So when I came back up to when I signed for Sheffield United, obviously I knew Leeds was round the corner.
Have you been doing this commute? 5 years.
I've lived in that house for 5 years. Well, yeah. So
wow.
So yeah, I just it was kind of that I don't know if I'd do it if I was at a different place, but
where that was home and where you had the ability.
I was 20 minutes away from where I grew up now, so like it makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Talk me through the rise of Oli McBurnie, because we were chatting. We were chatting last night, and what was the amateur boxing club that you?
Oh, Bermontoft.
Yes.
Big shout out Bermontoft,
yes.
ABC. Yeah, so obviously Ishmael Davis is fighting tomorrow there. Jack Bateson from there.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
How long when did you box? Were you any good?
I was alright.
I feel like you fucking strike me as a geezer who's got hands, to be fair.
I was alright, yeah. I had a couple of bouts when I was a kid. But I think I made the wise choice to go down the football route.
What decision?
At
what point?
So our dad took us to Bermontoft, to me and my little brother, mainly in the summer at the start. So obviously you get a big period of summer off at football.
Yeah.
And I in particularly wasn't a fan of going out and doing running and doing my own kind of like staying fit over the summer. I was not a big fan. I like when I'm not doing football, I like not doing football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this was probably when we started when we were like, I want to say 9, 10, maybe 11. So he'd just take us down there in the summer. And then we started going down for the fitness, but then Jamie and John Dyer, who's still there now, and Sean Hendry, they're not keen on you dipping your toe in at boxing and dipping it out. They want you to be boxers. Or they don't want you to just use it as a fitness which is what
the original intent.
Exactly. Yeah. So we started doing that for a couple of summers, and we both got the bug for it, mate. We loved it, and we were both alright at it as well. So like we'd get in and we started sparring, and we really enjoyed it. But then it got to a point probably where I must have stopped 15, 14, 15,
so
maybe a bit younger. Yeah, but it would be every summer, and I just loved I love the energy in boxing gyms. I love the people. I love the humility. I like
when I first went into a boxing gym, and as you can and as the comments probably imagine, I never really took it too. I'm not saying seriously. Anything, my boy. No, good. I've seen you on the pads, like. Hey, it's not awful, bro. It's horrendous. Okay, wow. Yeah, cool. Interview cancelled. We're off. I'm done. Yeah, sound. Go and play some golf again. Couldn't box eggs, boy. Wow. Okay, no, there was potential about maybe doing the Misfits, but obviously that's fucking gone out the window now. Cheers. No, but like, there's always that whole sort of like leave your ego at the door. I love that. And there's so much now about, especially with like knife crime and stuff like that. 100%. It is so important, and you'll go in and you'll go to these gyms, and like, I remember we went to the Lynn ABC opening in Lewisham, I think it was, and a lot of these lads, the governments were going to close them down, and a lot of these kids they were coming home, and where it's like 6, 7 o'clock, that hour that they got, they don't want to fucking be going out afterwards. Exactly. But it was the discipline that was installed as well, and that 100%. Actually gets them off the street. 100%. That's the main thing I loved about it, mate. Like, especially at Bermontoft, they had like, you could be the best boxer in the world, you could be like the most talented boxer in the world. If you fucked up like outside of it, they wouldn't let you come in and train. They had that. Or if you take the piss in there. Exactly, mate. And no one fucked around. I loved that about it. And coming from football, it was very different from that. There's kind of a thing in football, like if you're doing the business on a pitch, if you're the best player in your team, you can do whatever you want. Like the guy. You can do whatever you want, and it's shit, but it's accepted because if you're getting the results on a pitch, you can do it. And going from that to then boxing, where everyone was treated exactly the same, you have to and you have a bit of humility. I love that side of it, and that's why I got so much respect for the boxers. You know, I love boxing; it's one of my main hobbies in life. But the respect that I have for the boxers, and like I speak to Jack all the time, and Ish and Denzel Brown as well. He's just got his license back. He's 4-0. Watch out for him. But these boys and the discipline they have, and Denny and Ish, they've had they come from tough backgrounds. They've had their problems and they've worked for it. But you look at Ish now, like
he's turned his life around, and now he's fighting Troy tomorrow night, and it's on the biggest stage, and his life could completely change. And having that humility and the discipline to do it, that's why I've got so much respect for all the boxers that I meet.
Sick. Did you have any fights?
I had a couple of bouts, yeah, when I was a kid, yeah.
How did they go?
Yeah, won a couple of wins.
What do you mean couple? Elaborate, bro. You had 3 fights.
Three wins.
How many fights did you have? 3. So you should have gone. I was 3-0. Not had a couple. I'm trying to be humble about it. Yeah. I can't even mug you off back now.
Yeah, it was. I was a kid.
Boy.
I was about fucking 11.
That's all right.
But yeah, no, it was good, mate.
That's how you start out.
The boys. So I go back to me, Ish, and Jack went. There was a Bermontoff did a show at the Irish Centre in Leeds, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we went to watch their show, the Bermontoff show, and see all the young kids coming up through. There's still a lot, obviously, that was there when they were through, but the coaches are pretty much still the same. Like the environment's still the same, but it's just good people, man. Like I love being around good people. You know, it don't matter if I've known you 2 minutes or 10 years. If I enjoy being around you and you've got good people, then you'll do for me, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Stick to football for a little bit, because there's a few I want to rattle off, and then I suppose I can put this to one side and we can just sort of chat shit about boxing, as we already do. Someone said this earlier, I quite liked it. 5 people dead or alive if you were to have a dinner party.
Ooh. What, footballers?
Yes.
All right, let's go footballers. 5 people dead or alive, footballers. Ooh.
And your reasons why.
I'd go Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Sick, yeah. That's such a you pick as well.
Yeah, I'd go Ibra.
Such a you pick.
I'd go Ibra, yeah,
Did you ever play against him?
I've never... did I play against him when he was at United? I don't think I have, mate. I think I'd remembered if I... I think I would have remembered if I had...
Yeah,
no, I don't think I ever have, mate. But he was always my idol growing up. Like, he was like... Yeah, I really liked him.
That doesn't surprise me.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Can I go on my mates all as well? Like, if there's someone that'd be good value, like...
Yeah.
All right. I'd go Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I'd go Robert Snodgrass.
Ooh.
One of the funniest men you'll ever meet.
Down.
Hilarious.
We were playing with him on FIFA 19 the other
day. Was you,
yeah?
Why are you playing FIFA 19?
Bro, I said the same.
No, why was you?
I was at my pal's gaff, and it had FIFA 24. No, this was in Reading.
Crazy.
And FIFA 24 weren't working. What is the FIFA at the minute? Is it 24?
Yeah,
I ain't really played FIFA in EAFC.
EAFC, yeah. Like that. Yeah, I don't play FIFA, mate.
I ain't stopped.
I'm a grown man.
Oh, there's a couple. Jota.
Bites on that one.
Diego Jota absolutely fuming with his like celebrations so he can get an inform card.
All right, cool. Right, them two.
Yeah.
I'll move on.
Did you ever play club football together, or was that from international?
Who?
Robert Snodgrass.
Nah, Scotland.
Okay.
Scotland. Yeah. There's a funny story about it, but I'll have to tell you about it after.
Okay.
I can't tell you. Okay. Jason Cummins. Have you ever heard of Jason Cummins? The best.
Hold up, one sec. Can I just add in? Did he play for Dundee United?
Did he? Yes, I think he did.
Shut up.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Blonde?
Yeah.
Bruv, my boy Ian, he's going to love this so much. Everyone
Shout out Ian.
Shout out Ian Crichton, yeah. Is he known as Cum Dog or something? Right. Yeah. So there'll be a photo and Dundee United will post it. In fact, I'm going to show you what he looks like right now. He must do. I don't know what he looks like. One sec. And all the comments whenever Dundee United post a photo of him in the stands, it's... he's going to love this so much.
He plays in India now.
Does he?
That's rogue. He went to Australia, got like top scorer in the division, and then got a big move to India.
Sick.
I think he must be getting weighed in over there, the boy. Shout out to
Does he look, the one on the left?
He actually does look
no way, because everyone always comments.
It's the Barnett, bro. It's the Barnett. He does look a little bit like him.
Shout out Ian.
Yeah.
Ian's he's going to be gassed with that. So you'd have, that's so random.
Yeah, so I'd have Cum Dog, Snods, Ibra. Try to think about like OGs
have like
who
a
I would
defender
like.
and a goalkeeper now.
Yeah, keepers are weird, man. Nah, they are, bro.
Oh, swear.
Yeah.
What is it? But you've got to be a bit nutty to fuck. Yeah,
strange. They're just strange, bro.
Okay.
Like, I think it must be a thing to do with being a kid. I don't know, but Wes Foderingham is one of the most normal keepers I've ever met, right? And he's a weirdo. So, do you know what I mean? Yeah, they're fucking strange, bro. But they'll tell you that themselves.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So who is your keeper?
Fuck. Weirdo keeper, man. Who should we go with?
Weirdo keeper.
I want to go with people who I don't know now that I think would be quite funny to have there. Keepers. Who's got banter as keeper?
You're not asking the wrong
Jimmy
person.
Bullard.
Oh.
I'd have Jimmy Bullard there.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Yeah.
And then I'd have go on then, we'll take Rammers, we'll take Lizard Tits.
Okay.
Aaron Ramsdale.
Okay.
Yeah. He's just good bit of
Is he bonkers as well?
Yeah, he's fucking keeper, man.
Yeah, well,
no, but he sounds like a lovely kid,
no,
but he's just
like,
fucking weird,
all,
man.
Yeah.
Like, so weird, a lot of them.
International trips. Now, this was one that I was so intrigued, right? Because I look at, like, I was creasing the other day, yeah, like St Kitts and Nevis have blagged an away day to San Marino.
My boy plays for St Kitts and Nevis.
Swear, was he part of that?
Yeah, he played in the game, yeah. They won, didn't they? Shout Raheem Hanley,
way.
yeah. He was I played at Swansea 23s with him.
Bruv, that's the world of, like, international
Do you know
football.
where San Marino is?
Yeah, in Italy.
In Italy.
Yeah.
Mentalist thing
Tiny.
ever. We played them, right?
You've been?
It's in Italy. So, like, you just go from, like...
It's almost like going Monaco or something. You just
have you been to Monaco? You should have mentioned it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a bit like Monaco, except it's not Monaco. It's like a little town.
Something of like Andorra or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we was just in Italy, and then we just drove to a place, and they're like, right, you're in San Marino now. It's not Italy anymore.
Did it feel like...
No, but like everyone's Italian.
Okay.
Like everyone speaks Italian.
They're going to be fuming the San Maries or whatever.
Yeah, sorry, the San Marinians.
Just being fucking labelled as Italian.
But yeah, it was a lovely place. Like the pitch was at a nice place, I think. Can't remember. And
but that level of this is a proper tangent because you know what we're going to go on to.
Yeah.
Because I just crease every time I speak to you about it. But like, aren't these guys like butchers and that?
Yeah, so the San Marino team, they literally were like...
That's wild.
Taxi drivers and like...
That's wild.
Working the cafe around the corner and that. Like, yeah, I don't think they had one... Or maybe they had a couple of professional players.
Is that not weird to play? Like, I was actually on the bench.
I was actually on the bench. I was on the bench. So I think, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's just one of them. It's a weird mentality to go into, innit? Because like you're expected to pump them. But, like, I don't know. It's hard, man. It's tough,
What's the deadest national team that you've played against?
What, the worst team?
Yeah.
Probably San Marino.
No, but you said you were on the bench.
Oh, that I played in?
Yeah.
Fuck me, we got pumped, bro, a couple of times, man. The deadest. Bro, they're not dead, you know. Like, all these teams, we played Kazakhstan away, bro. They were gold. I swear to God. Like, they were gold.
Yeah, but what league do they play in, bro?
No, some of them play in sick leagues, bro. Like, you'd be surprised. So, like, we play, like...
That's where you get football...
Yeah, you think like they're not playing in the Kazakhstani leagues. Do you know what I'm saying?
Not?
Nah, most of them are playing Europe and places like that. Like, yeah, it's not like the San Marino's different. Like San Marino, like Luxembourg, them teams they're different.
You played Luxembourg?
I don't think I have. No, I think I've played. Like we'd play Israel, right? And you wouldn't think that Israel would be that
Israel
good.
Got a few ballers.
They did. That Solomon, the boy at Spurs.
Who's that? That striker they've got?
Him. So they had like 3 players. So that's Solomon was at Shakhtar Donetsk when we played him. He was sick, bro, in these games. But like these games, you'd never heard of these players. And afterwards, we're looking through the squads, like, mate, who the fuck did them boys play for?
Yeah,
like because they were sick. And
swear.
Yeah, and you'd actually look.
How do you prepare for games like that?
You'll do video analysis the same. But the thing I thought was different from Scotland, it's different now because I'm in the Scotland team for a year or 2. But when I was playing, we was different squad every time. So it'd be different called up every time. Whereas we'd be playing Israel and they'd be the same called, like the team players have been called up for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Does that impact?
I thought that's why they were better.
Okay.
Because they were like a club team. They were like a club team. They know how each other play.
They knew each other.
Where like, I'm playing with players I've never played before.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so you've got 3 days or 4 days to train with them. You're not going to build up the relationship with them. So I felt that, but we had...
International football baffles me, and it's almost a little bit like, you know, like England boxers in the amateurs, and they go on these tournaments to like Azerbaijan and stuff like that, Uzbekistan. So when we were chatting, I said like, what's the weirdest places, and I want it to be on this, because whether it's like, I just love hearing these stories, right? So you went and played in Peru.
We did Peru. That was Lima.
That's brazy, bro. Like, that's mad.
We did Peru and the same tour, so it was like 12 days. We did Lima and Mexico City.
Sick.
And but Mexico City, we weren't allowed outside the hotel without an armed guard.
See, that's
following us around.
Fucking nuts.
So it was like if you got watches, like hide them in your room.
Do you feel shook or nah?
I find it funny. I find it quite genuinely, right? And there's something where there's probably something a little bit like
but you are tapped.
Twisted, in my head. I think that I love that sort of stuff. I'd love to be one of them people that goes to like, you seen them like YouTubers that go to like Afghanistan.
Oh, you know, like that bald and bankrupt
exactly.
and that.
I'd love to.
And
go,
they're like,
and
just
I'd love to go to like the maddest places on earth and just see what.
Right, when your career's done, stomping ground
to
Afghanistan,
Sorry.
or like Somalia or some shit,
100%.
bro. I love all of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
You seen that Callum Abroad on Twitter? That guy's nuts,
Mad, aren't they?
bro.
Mad.
But you've got to be sick.
Yeah, you do. But I think it goes to a certain point. One of them, they're just gonna get like.
Yeah. I done
Guadalajara
Guadalajara and I was a bit that to me was a bit like, oh, this is moody, and it was pretty sand.
They're the first 2 times where I've ever been places where they've been like, right. I think one of them was like the murder capital of South America.
Lovely.
Was like 3 blocks down or something from our hotel.
Yeah.
But it was like. We'd go on walks and that, and it like looks beautiful. Like Lima was beautiful, Peru was beautiful, Mexico City I loved. It was beautiful. Like the people was all so nice.
Mexico City, banging,
beautiful, mate. But the fact that there was like, you're not allowed to go on a walk around the hotel. Like you have to stay inside the hotel. So we're in the hotel for 5 days. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like it just clocks, and you just think, right, we're not at home anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm not in Leeds anymore.
You're not in Harrogate.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like it is a bit mad, but the thing is, I've been to some mad places through football, through other things. But a lot of the times with football, I'm in the hotel.
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
You don't really get to enjoy it.
I don't really. I'd love to.
Did you say you played in Uzbekistan?
No, we've played. I've done Kazakhstan.
Because I know, like, from boxing, but people say they go there and they're like, it's the maddest culture shock ever. But they don't get to experience any of it because you literally don't.
It's the thing, bro, because you're not going there for a holiday. You're not going there sightseeing. You're going there to do a job, effect, like you say. You're working, aren't you? So we train. We go in the hotel, go to sleep, eat. Wake up, train. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. I imagine it's the same as the boxes. Like I could say I've been to all these mad places,
but you've not actually.
But I've not experienced them. I've been to Moscow. I've been to Kiev, like Ukraine when the war was going on, like all this stuff. And they're saying like 70 miles down there, there's a war going on.
But West, you're just like
I'm just in this beautiful hotel. Like,
so it's almost like nothing's going on.
Exactly, but it's mad.
Hard life.
I know. Yeah, it's mad.
Maddest, like I was gonna say, so. Them fans must have been nuts over in like Peru.
They was the maddest. Bro. So we played, I think it was Peru. We was their last game before the World Cup. So we was their last friendly before they went to the World Cup, and it was the first time they'd been to the World Cup in like 30 years or something. Been like, mate, every day at training there was like there was people begging for tickets, banging on the door of the bus. We had to have like armed security drivers to training everywhere. Begging for signs saying, please, I'll do anything for tickets for this game, like against us, because it was their last game, sold out. Played Mexico City at the Azteca. There was like 95,000 Mexicans just screaming.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it was mad. It was like experiences. And at the time, I was a kid, man, so I didn't appreciate them as much as what I should have done. Do you know what I mean? Looking back on it, like I was at a stage where everything in my life was
just like live and just
sort
of embrace it, 100%, right? But also from your perspective, and I suppose maybe a little bit where I am at now, is like every bit of your come up in terms of being that young lad and then like going boxing to keep up with cardio in the summer and stuff like that, and then making it, you're almost a little bit like, nah, this is what I was made to do. This is what I've literally spent the last 10 years of my craft 100%. Fucking trying to get to this point.
100%. And at that point, my career was just up. Like everything was going well, so I'm just in my head. I'm probably just thinking this is how it's always going to be.
Yeah.
It takes the little downs to make you appreciate them good times. I think, which is what I've learned more. Like the older I'm 27 now, I've learned like I've had some amazing times in football, some terrible times in football, and the terrible times make you appreciate how good the sick times was. Do you know what I mean?
Do you?
Bit deep that one.
That was a little bit deep.
Sorry,
yeah, but that's what this is for.
Let's talk about some crazy shit instead.
I was hoping that would be the crazy. That may be for after. Do you ever listen or communicate with pundits?
Pundits.
What's your opinion on it? You know, like when you it's so different because I'm a fan.
You like it?
Well, it depends, isn't it? Like, I'll tell you what I love at the minute, the CBS show, and I never actually like.
Mika.
Yeah.
He lives around the corner from
Brilliant.
Mika. Yeah,
Great energy.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are like, they can be quite like, look at Roy Keane when he's talking about Fred and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
they're quite intense,
bro.
bro.
I think people have always told me like I'd be quite good at doing asking me if it was something that I'd want to do after football. I just don't think I'd feel comfortable hammering other players when I know what it's been like in that situation.
To receive.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because them boys know how hard it is to be in our situation. They know how hard our job is. They know how hard and how much pressure and what it takes to be a professional football at elite levels, and then they'll go out there and muller them like they fucking don't deserve to be on the football pitch. Like, I don't know if I could. Listen, maybe when I'm skinned and I need a job and I'll go do punchery, I'll start. If you see me hammering players, it's because I'm skinned.
That's why.
It's because I'm
saying this back.
Exactly. Nah, but
have you ever been on the end of some hammerings? There's
I've had a
some,
couple. Simon Jordan's not my biggest fan. Simon Jordan's
not
my biggest fan.
Yeah,
no, he's come for me a couple of times, but it's quite funny. Gary Neville had a couple goes at me, but probably it was like when I was going to like Swansea games away and doing like.
Can I pick up on that? So how old were you at the time?
21 maybe.
Fucking
22.
class, by the way. Did you not think like?
Child, this is what you don't understand, right, child? You know me now, right? I'm a normal person.
Yeah, no, you are.
So like, I'm a normal, at this point, I'm a normal 22-year-old lad from a working class.
Yeah.
We've come from no, like, and somehow I found myself, ended up playing in the Premier League, right? What I had to learn very quickly is I can no longer do the things that I just used to do without... Like what any normal lad would do at that age. Yeah. Like
everyone in the fucking stadium is doing it. But the eyes are on you because you are,
of course, and that's with everything. That's not just them moments.
You almost have to embrace that as well now.
That's my whole life, and it took me a couple of years to realise that I was playing. Because when I was in the champ, no one gives a fuck really. So when I was at Swansea, no one really cared about me doing it. I was probably doing all the same shit and more. When I come into the Prem, it's worldwide. Then everything's like, do you know what I mean? Everything's heightened times 1,000. Yeah. And then I made a few mistakes. I had a few slip ups in terms of doing things that like I would have just done growing up in my childhood.
How did you deal with it mentally?
I'm a bit of a
because no. I mean that because everyone's got an opinion. As well.
Of course, yeah.
And that you talk about like the whole world being on you. There's been a few occasions where like it's all that must be hard, right? Like
I'm a very mentality. My mentality a lot of the time to a lot of people is I don't give a fuck in terms of I don't care what I wear. I don't care like.
No, I get that. I would definitely get that.
You mean?
You know what I mean?
Big GK, bosh.
Bad.
I like to do my thing. I do my own thing. I never cared what anyone else thought. But it's more as I got older, the people around me.
Okay.
So it's my family.
How it impacts them.
Yeah, because then like I would have my mum and dad reading tweets about me. Do you know what I mean? People tweeting about me.
And they like the way you
hurts them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, stop reading that shit.
No,
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
I have this now in the comment section on some of my videos, and my mum sometimes replies. I'm like, no, please, that makes everything a whole lot worse. Let's not like.
Go on, Mrs. Parsons.
Let's not start like, oh, bro. No, I feel that.
Nah,
do you ever like? Would you ever change anything?
No, I just had to adapt to my surround. Like in terms of like, I just had to realise where I was, and I am in a privileged position, and I don't think I should be anyone's role model, but I am people's role model in certain kids.
Yes.
But I have to understand that side of it as well. You know, I never wanted to be. I'd never do it to do that.
You never went out of your way.
I literally
just come with
I was just a 22, 23-year-old kid who'd happened to be playing in the Premier League.
You must have got mobbed in the concourse. So.
Yeah, of course. But like,
Didn't you buy everyone a Jaeger?
I think I bought 100 pints or something.
Just so they'd.
No, just because like.
Good on you.
Yeah, I just like listen.
But they don't see that side as well.
No, of course they don't. They take all the bad
the side they want to pick.
Mate, every story you've ever seen.
There's always,
about
of
me,
course.
You could there'd be 10 stories about what good I did that day.
But there'd be never doesn't get the same publicity.
Of course, and listen, I went to Swansea when I was a kid. Like I think I was 18 when I went to Swansea. On my own, living in Swansea, 6 hours away from her. I had to grow up, I had to become a man, and the people around Swansea, including the fans and the people at the club, they helped me do that, and that's why I'll always be grateful for that. That's why I'll always have love for that club and the people there, and that's why if I get a chance, I'll go watch a game or go watch my friends for there and give back to the fans and things like that. Man, they're good people around there. Do you know what I mean?
Good on you.
Yeah, man.
Good on you. We were on the punditry side and then sort of went on that tangent, but you said like. Do you ever, do the guys, maybe not so much you, but after a game...
Sometimes it'll get brought up.
Fucking,
like, it has been said. Yeah, there has been a couple of times where
but there are people that deep it more than others. There's got to be.
Mate, there's boys, right? I'm not saying there's boys in this team now. There's boys that I've played with in the past. They'll get the game will finish, 90 minutes, the gaffer will come in and speak, they'll come in on the phone and they'll be sat on the phone searching a name on Twitter.
Oh, nah,
like,
nah,
I'm like, mate, you're gonna drive yourself fucking mental.
Mad,
like you're gonna drive off a bridge, mate. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you. Yeah, a lot of the younger boys now I see coming up through it.
I swear.
And
I suppose where they've maybe come from, like the social media.
Exactly. We never had it. Like, well, I never had it. You're 14, are you, this year?
12.
So I'm an old man now. Do you know what I mean? And we never grew up really with that side of it. But all the iPad babies like you these days, you're just used to seeing a screen, aren't you? It's mental.
And it's always there. So they after a game,
so
maybe
like, search my name, and then it says, "Oh, this is the worst player I've ever seen play for this club. Never play for me ever again." And then they're like,
football fans, boxing fans actually as well, but they have such short memories as well.
A little bit. I love my fans. I love football fans in general.
Yes.
They might be a little bit fickle. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes they can be partial to being a little bit fickle, but that works in.
It works both ways.
It works, so they can be overly fickle. They can be overly.
But if you must have opened your DMs at one point. Shout out to Whoop, by the way. I need to get one of them. There must have been times where you've like seen a DM and it will be like, "Oh, unbelievable, love you, bro," and then the message that he'd sent like 2 weeks ago was like, "You fucking prick."
Bro,
like,
you wouldn't believe it. Like on Instagram, they'll be. I don't think either they delete them or they don't realize that you can see the ones before and it'll literally be like, "You are my idol. Please, can I have your shirt? Like, I love you so much." And the next one is like, "I hope you die. You should never play for this club ever again." And I'm like, "My boy." Pick a side, brother.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, and it's also like all of them people that were saying that.
Yeah.
If they met you,
I've never had one. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, maybe I've had a couple.
Yeah. Do you ever bite? Well,
I've had no.
Yeah,
listen,
I know. Whoa.
I've had a couple of situations where. But that was never about football. Like that was
something that's been said that goes past football.
Yeah, I've had someone walk down the street and say to my missus, "Get your tits out, you little slag."
Oh fucking hell!
While I'm stood next to her.
That's fucked.
And so then situations are very different. But like people can come and have banter, but I've never had someone come and stick it on me and say you're shit at football.
Okay.
In it out and out. 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be. Can I have a photo? Even if they're taking a piss, it's can I have a photo? Do you know what I mean? You get a lot of people on the internet that talk a lot of things, but that's why you get 100%. But that's why I say to the boys, you can't read the good shit as well as the bad shit.
No, because
the good's overhyped as well. Like
it gives you an inflated.
Of course it does. It's probably the good shit's probably bullshit anyway. Like they probably. Do you know what I mean?
Also, it takes one really bad thing for everyone to just fucking hate you.
Exactly, mate.
You're a Rangers fan.
I am.
Got to be a dream to play for him one day.
Yeah, I'd listen. It's a special club, man. Like, have you ever been to the Old Firm?
I've not, and that's what I wanted to speak to you about because.
Yeah, mate.
That's a bit of you, that bro.
Yeah, I've been to old firms. Like, I've been to plenty of old firms, and it's just I've never been experienced a game like it, playing it, watching it. I think most people who've ever been to them will say the same. But listen, it's something that growing up I was always, big Rangers fans. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's just about timing. And I hope one day by the end of my career I play for Rangers. You know what I mean? I hope.
And you get to experience.
I hope I get to experience that side of it. If I don't, I don't. But listen, I hope by the end of my career I can say I've played in an Old Firm at one point.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. Right, let's move on to the world of boxing.
Yeah.
You love a bit of boxing.
I'm partial to a bit of the old.
You tweeted actually, so I can. By the way, footballers are allowed to bet, just not on football. Let's just do that as an instant disclaimer.
Yeah.
Before all the comments are like.
Definitely.
Yes. You won a bit on a certain something the other day.
I did indeed.
And I was so rattled. By the way, shout out Joe Joyce, lovely bloke.
And shout out Cash Ali.
Big shout out Cash Ali. This guy really wants to shout out Cash Ali. So there was an over 1.5 at over evens in the Joe Joyce fight. And I know the big juggernaut's coming heavy. I'm thinking there's a chance to take his head clean off. And it almost like, see, you always say to me, and I probably shouldn't say this, but fuck it, scared money doesn't make money.
It's true.
And it was repeating in my head. And I wanted to lump every single penny I had on it. But I didn't. and you done quite nicely on it, and I was fucking kicking myself.
Yeah,
But you know your boxing, like you do well on the.
Yeah, listen, I definitely watch boxing more than I watch football. Like I'd say between boxing and MMA, between boxing and
love UFC.
Between boxing and mixed martial arts, they're probably the most sports I watch. I love the NFL. But obviously it's only on for a certain part of the season. So consistently throughout the year, I love my MMA, I love my boxing, and like if I feel confident betting on them because I kind of know. You kind of know, like 9 times out of 10, I know who
sport,
exactly.
You get a
I'll price it up. I'll price up the fight in what I would put the odds at before I look at the odds, and then if there's a big disparity between the odds that the bookies are giving it and what that's how much, depending on how much I would bet it on. So when I then saw, it was actually my friend who told me. It was actually, shout out Dave Allen, shout out to White Rhino.
Shout out Dave Allen.
He hates Parsons. Shout out White Rhino. So I was speaking to him about something different, and then we got onto the fighting because I speak to a lot. I love picking boxers' brains about boxing.
Okay.
So I'll always, like, whenever boxers will entertain me, like I was messaging Joe Parker the other day, like and whether they entertain me, like let me ask them questions. I'll try and get as much information or like knowledge about boxing as I can. And we were speaking about it, and I said, mate, I've just seen this line over 1.5 rounds. Like, is it a fix or something?
Yeah. That's what I think. But I've never known fixing to be a thing.
Yeah.
But that made me like I was questioning everything I knew at that point.
Cash Ali's never been stopped.
I know.
Obviously, the David Price thing was.
Yeah, but like he bit him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
wasn't his finest moment.
It wasn't his finest moment. No.
He's never been stopped. Joe Joyce, I think, has stopped one person in his career in the first round, like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And. Like, whenever I've ever watched Joe box, love watching him box, the big juggernaut.
Juggernaut.
He's not the quickest of starters.
No.
So in my head, I just couldn't.
That's true, yeah.
It didn't make no sense. So yeah, I texted you, didn't I, Charles?
I
texted a couple of my mates, and I said, "Listen, there might be a decent bet for you because a few of the boys know that."
I couldn't even bring myurself to be happy for you.
I know you're a spiteful fucker, weren't you?
I was a hater, bro. I was so angry.
But I texted a few of the boys because they know that I know like a little bit more about boxing and UFC, and they say any bets this weekend, like any bankers, they'll always say. So I texted a couple of the boys.
Oh, bro,
they got on it. Obviously, you did not choose to listen to me.
Double silly now.
And that's what happens when you don't listen to me, pal.
Fuck this game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't know enough about MMA.
Yeah.
I do know that I have come home from a night out at 3 AM and found myself betting on like I don't know, like matey boy. I'll WhatsApp you like anything on any bets, and you'll be sat there up watching the UFC. It'll be like 4 o'clock on a Sunday,
UFC,
and I'll end up like watching it on like the Bet365.
You're getting into it a bit more, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm. My pals love it more so than boxing, which I hate.
Yeah. Because there's a big thing in. I never really understood. Like,
yeah, no, I don't hate. There's a definite clash between boxing fans and UFC fans.
Yeah.
However, it's not so much that for me. It's just because where boxing is my I can't even imagine another. But I also do think there's a worry, just to go on a quick tangent, at like, because in UFC you're constantly seeing the best fight the best.
Yeah,
we're seeing it a little bit more in boxing now with Saudi.
Yeah,
I think that's why. But my mates don't know that, so they don't know that the reason that the UFC fighters are doing it is because they're getting 800k each and they've got no alternative.
Yeah, there's only one way to get to the
politics in boxing.
Yeah. And that is one of the things that draws a lot of people to UFC in particular.
Because all the big fights are constantly happening.
Because there's one title and you only get the pay-per-view points if you're the champion. So to get the most money, you have to fight the title. And then to work the way to rank.
The best have to fight the best.
It's very simple, but it's a completely different brand, UFC. I love Dana White. Like, I love him as I think he's a boss. Like, I think the way he runs his business and he has his thing is sick. I love the sport of MMA. I love UFC as a whole. But yeah, they're my two things. Like, and the other thing as well that's sick about it for me, it's always on a Saturday. So when I get back from a game, like, I'll always be able to watch it. And there's very rarely where there's not either a UFC card or a boxing card on.
There's always something on, isn't there?
There's always something that I can watch.
Even if it's like your fight night that you got me watching, that was a bit like...
Matey boy won though, didn't he? No, was that not
Hermanson.
Was that
no, I thought we were
about UFC. Yeah, Hermanson. And yeah. It was not bad though. I called the fight though, didn't I?
Call the fight. This guy, when it comes, he knows his stuff. I can't lie. Although you have mudded me on a few hackers before. You have mudded me.
I always know what's going to happen,
I'm
but
always
I get the edge.
rattled, bro. I always get the fucking bad. Can we just deep how I never get the good end of it? By the way, like I've never.
Over 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I didn't back it, so of course I see that.
Yeah, that's true.
But when we've done an ACCA, what one was it? And I went, it was one recently. I don't have a photographic memory, but you'll either mud me or you'll come up with something genius, and I won't back it.
Yeah, that's the one. I know
So
when you don't
always
back it.
doing okay.
I know when you don't back it.
It's
I'm
landing. Boxing as a whole, the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury, I don't know if you know, but I was with him the other day. I've not mentioned it.
Where was you?
I was at Old Trafford.
Oh, was you?
In the director's box.
Yeah, you should have mentioned
it. No, in all seriousness, he's got the Alexander Usyk fight.
Yeah.
What did you make about all the postponement? Because look, I know firsthand there was nothing dodgy going on. But you've got your boxing. I know, yeah. But well, I don't know. I was going to say you may have thought that, but you're not going to like. I was going to say there's fucking easier ways to pull out of a fight.
So people think, right? This is what you're telling. People think he slit his own eye to get out of 40 million quid.
Mad.
Like I don't understand.
Especially when he's got a quick turnaround on the fight.
Mate, I don't get the like I don't understand the positives of that. Like what does he gain?
There's so many easier ways to get out of a fight.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Nah, I think everyone listen. To be a boxer, you can't. Like you've got to be a certain mentality. You can't have the mentality where you're scared or like pull like.
Yeah.
They're not scared of each other. These boys, they do not give a fuck.
Yeah,
like,
they don't.
They want to get in a fight each other. They're all lunatics.
You've got to be a bit sick to.
They're all lunatics. So yeah.
What do you think for Fury Usyk? May the 18th.
I've got the big GK man.
Okay.
I just that old age saying a good big one beats a good little one.
Yeah.
I was at Bellew Usyk. I was ringside for that. And Bellew was actually doing like he was boxing really well, and like we was like he's gonna win this, like, and then all of a sudden it was just like someone told Usyk right, bro. All right, go now, and he just came out and just floored it. I'm like, okay then, that is that. And then ever since then he tore through the cruiserweights, and then. Did
you see beforehand the AJ stuff, or did you? Because you know what I find, and probably maybe the same in football, but where like boxing's like a one-man sport as opposed to a team sport. But we'll see it, I suppose, firsthand for me as an England fan, like the bias that you have.
100%.
So I look at like a couple of my pals were convinced that Kell Brook would beat Terence Crawford, and it's nothing against Kell, but at that point, shout out Kell. But when you're making the weight, and like hindsight's mad. Yeah. Did you see Usyk beating Joshua, or did you? Where were you at with that?
I did.
You did?
I bet on him. Unfortunately,
I feel that.
I love AJ. Love AJ.
Yeah,
I think he's sick, mate, and I think he's got. Hammered.
He's a good guy as well.
Yeah, I heard he's everyone like he's a great guy, and I think he's been dragged through the press like
for such
mental things. Like
I know, but that's the thing about people just want to get on his back for anything.
But for what he's done for British boxing and how successful he's been and how his career is unbelievable. Like and I think like I wish him the best, and to see him like have his little re-rise, it's been so good, sick to watch, mate. Like buzzing. But I just saw. Usyk just moved, like his movement was just too good, man. I think I had 7 to 12 in points.
Okay.
I just saw Usyk, and then after the first fight, I was at AJ and Ruiz in New York.
Oh.
I was in New York and
sick.
Was at that fight.
That must have been a weird experience.
So weird, man.
Was it bare like somber afterwards?
Yeah, it was like no one understood like what had happened.
Weird. That is weird.
Do you know what I mean? It was like
I remember watching it. I'll never forget that.
Mate, it was mad.
That was like it was such just everything about it in terms of like AJ was like not that he was like God, but from like a boxing standpoint at the time. Yeah,
it was untouchable. It was untouchable at the time, and then this little fat Mexican guy.
And that's the thing. People that know boxing, and even so, people weren't giving him much going into it. And hindsight's always mad as well. You actually look and you think. From a picture-wise, it was a hater's dream.
Of course, yeah. For everyone who hated AJ, it's the absolute worldie for him on it. Yeah, of course, man. Nah, it was tough, man. But like you said, to see him doing so well now, I just thought Usyk had his number a little bit.
Do you think we see Fury AJ happen now? Saudi Arabians
with His Excellency.
Shout out His Excellency.
Shout out His Excellency.
His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh. He's such a G.
He's a boss.
I get stick and like, oh, you're getting paid off them. I'm not. And if they want to pay me, I'm here, bro. Yeah. But
That is a boss.
bro, this guy, like,
Yeah, he's a boss.
yeah, I mean, I've never actually got to spend. I'll DM him and I'll just get a reply. I'll just be like a thumbs up, but that's enough for me. Bro. I've got the follow back. I don't know whether it's actually him on his account, whatever, but that's fine. I'll take it, bro. I'll pretend it is. I'll pretend it is.
Nah, but I don't get why boxing fans wouldn't like that. He's literally making all the best fights in the world.
It's like every fan, isn't it? There's always like, but that's what I find mad. So now there's this criticism of atmosphere and stuff like that, right? But I always think, one, cultures are very different.
Yeah, 100%.
People need to like
realise.
The reason that UK stadiums, and it's the same with football, is because everyone's going getting rowdy.
Yeah,
it's true. People are drinking at like 9. Like, look at some of the away days, bruv. Like, you know, like when Plymouth go up to. I used to, not so much now. I remember when I first moved to Cirencester, a couple of my pals went to. Do you know Lawrence Figueroa?
The keeper?
Yes.
I don't know him, I know of him.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's just so weird now because I speak to him a little bit. But when I joined him on maybe like 4 Swindon away days, giving it lemon in my aqua scooter, CB company and that. I used to be like singing Lawrence Figueroa chants, and I'm like, now I'm like, Used to. Now I still go Southampton, St Mary. I bumped into a few players in Manny the other night. They knew who I was. That was quite a sick moment. In fact, I'll elaborate on that. Bare embarrassing, right? Because it's different, bro. Like, I've spent a whole day with Tyson Fury, sick.
Was you?
You get the point I'm making. And then that to me is like, I don't fan. I'm just me in work mode. I'm having a good time.
Working,
and then I bumped into the Southampton players.
Then you fanboy.
A little bit. Yeah. Shay Charles, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, but like he's like we've sort of, and it's like, oh, Parsons, yeah, and I'm like, like which is mad.
Yeah, I get you.
Because, and we chatted for like spent a bit of time, and it was sound, and now that level changes very quickly.
Yeah.
But you are a fan of that club. That's 100%. The team that you grow. And I was like, that whole mentality.
Man, that's like the opposite. It's the same, but the opposite for me. Like, I can't imagine seeing a footballer and being like, oh my God.
Yes.
Like, but with the certain boxing, I'd be like, oh, like.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and that was me.
Yeah, 100%, bro. No, I get you.
Yeah, I don't even know how we went off on that. Away days and stuff.
Talking about
yeah, I don't really give it. There were a couple of times. Block 42. If there's any Southampton fans watching,
man, they're all for a freebie, the boy.
No, I'm not trying to get a freebie.
He'll do anything for a freebie, the boy.
Hey, I'm speaking to the Southampton team. We're working. Now, Block 42. I used to give it lemon as a little 15-year-old, thinking I was a mad cunt. Then I think if anyone got to stuck it on me, no. Cheers, mate. If anyone got to stuck it on me, I'll be, oh, sorry. God, I think that probably wraps it up. Yeah. Don't know if there's any more on the boxing standpoint. You spoke about Fury AJ. Who wins if it happens?
That's a tough one. I think recency bias, everyone would say AJ. I still always fancied Fury. I just think the movement, I don't know. But who knows, the way AJ's been looking, like the way, I didn't expect him to flatten Ngannou like that.
Yeah, that was mad.
Like, I'd seen Ngannou fight a lot in the UFC. I've never seen him sparked out like that with 4-ounce gloves.
His excuses are a bit wild.
I think he's still fucking concussed, bro. That is crazy.
Weird.
Bro, just go to the thing when you want to get there. What are you talking about?
That's what Eddie said today.
I don't get it.
He's also so it weren't Matchroom that set him up. And he's pals with Turkey.
Yeah, so who set him up then?
That's what I'm saying. Weird.
No, that's my that's how I found you, Pass. That's how I like became across your work. Like, I'm a big busy boxing little game. Like, on the way into training in the morning, I'll listen to I'll watch IFL TV. Like, that's all I'll do. Nah, I know. So it was shout out Coogan was the OG, man.
Coogan.
Like, I've known Coogan.
He actually said to me today. Yeah. You used to be on him, and now you're on at me instead.
Nah, Coogan's my boy, man.
Yeah.
I met him for the first time at Warrington Martinez in Leeds.
In Leeds, yeah.
Yeah. And I was a bit starstruck then when I seen Coogan,
nice.
and he was buzzing off it, bless him. But and then I've kept in touch with Coogan since then. But I always watched IFL TV. Like, I'd watch every interview from the prelims. Like, I was a proper boxing gimp like that. And then obviously Boxing Social through you and all the other ones, and then just I was like, who's this little fucking gimp? He's quite funny, isn't he?
Safe.
Cheers, and then I can't even remember, just socials, wasn't it? And then
I don't know. Must have just been
that long,
social
hasn't it?
Media. It has actually been a minute.
I just think I thought, oh, he's quite funny. I'll follow him. and then we just got chatting. We just started chatting about.
But I think you're similar. Like where and this is the last thing we'll say before we wrap up. But like I used to watch Coogan, and I used to like sort of look at that relationship with Eddie, but like not just Eddie, but just having that banter with everyone. I used to want to come out, and you'll probably experience this now when you're watching something. You've laughed and you've also learned about, because you love the sport, right? 100%. So you want to learn. So that for me was like have that fucking crack with
the
Eddie,
balance,
because,
yeah.
But then you're also like. That's why I say I'm never a journo, bro, and I could never call myself a journo because I know I'm not, and people hate it. Like in the comments, like fucking cringe banter between them. I
know you've given yourself a title. No, come on.
I'm the head of content now.
Fuck off. That'll do, mate. The fucking head of content.
My brother. No, actually, come on, shout out Wow Hydrate. Shout out the Stomping Ground.
Shout out Wow Hydrate.
Yeah, come on. We love that.
Stomping Ground. It's been a pleasure. Thank you
Oli
for
McBurnie.
having me.
No, thank you for having me.
No worries,
my boy.
I'll see you in a fight tomorrow night.
Yes, tomorrow night.
Perfect.
My brother, big up yourself.
My man.
Jeez. That was good, that.
Good shit, bro. Good shit.